So let's start over here with ghee. And
ghee is ancient and goes back thousands and thousands of years, and all it means is clarified butter.
Exactly, but look at this. You see on the top here, you see all these milk solids, right? So that's the protein. When you boil the butter and the water evaporates and you get rid of that protein, you end up with ghee. And you can see, look how beautiful and clear and cleaner this looks. But what's awesome about it, and all of you might love me out there right now because I'm going to tell you, you can add a little bit of this to your toast tomorrow. It's actually good for you. It's not, you know, people think of butter as, oh, I can't have that, cholesterol and all that. It's actually... Well, that's good, though. Yeah. Just have the ghee. It actually, the saturated fats in there are not all like other saturated fats. There's actually some good saturated fats in there that are good for your gastrointestinal health. So they're good for your GI health, which means they're good for your immune system. It's also loaded with vitamins A, D, and E, those fat-soluble vitamins that are super important for everything, again, from boosting your immune system to your eyesight. So important.
Now, if you don't want to bother turning a skillet on, you can buy this in a jar, but let me tell you, all you have to do is skim the solids off, and that's ghee. You don't have to pay a premium to buy it in a jar. That's just my little opinion.
Exactly, but if you're going to do it on your own, also try to buy grass-fed butter.
Yes.
So try to go
a good quality butter is what she's saying you should start with. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so my friend looks at me the other day, super serious, and she's like, I have to ask you a question. I thought she was going to ask me about my sex life or something. And she says, seriously, I'm like, what is she going to ask me? And she says, what is matcha? It was like it had been eating away at her. She was like afraid to ask anybody. Okay, so I'm going to clear this up if any of you are thinking that same thing. Matcha, which we're going to add to some guacamole right here. I'm just going to add a teaspoon of it actually to the guacamole, half teaspoon, to the guacamole, and then I'm going to add the tomatoes, the cilantro, so you can add it to anything. You can also even put it in some water and make ice cubes and then add that to soup or to a smoothie. Great, thank you. Doesn't that look delish? Sure. Okay, so matcha is a form of green tea, but what makes it different is it's the whole leaf. So think about it, when you're drinking tea, you normally are just drinking, obviously the tea, you don't have the leaves. The whole tea leaf is ground up, that's what makes that beautiful
matcha
green powder into
Japanese
matcha
green
powder.
Leaf. Yes.
And then it's put into a container, a sealed container or a pouch. It retains those antioxidants, and so those antioxidants are super powerful for doing everything from actually boosting your metabolism slightly to fighting cancer, lowering your cholesterol, and also it has an amino acid called L-theanine, which helps relax you. So the combination of that amino acid,
of this stuff.
but with the caffeine, it makes you just clear and focused.
Right.
Okay, so the next thing, this is so super easy to swap out. I mean, everybody should be doing this tonight. I'm actually think I'm gonna make it tonight. Anyway, so black rice instead of white or brown rice. And I'm gonna make a little burrito bowl here. And what's amazing about this, sorry, I'm making a mess. I'm making a mess while I'm doing it.
Don't worry, I got it.
Doesn't it taste good, by the way?
Very good.
Okay, so black rice
it's also known as forbidden rice.
Yes. And what's amazing about forbidden rice is that it's higher in protein and lower in calories than brown or white. But just a little bit. What makes it so incredible, I'm gonna add some tomatoes here too. We're gonna make a little burrito bowl. What makes it incredible is the compounds that make it black are those same compounds that make blueberries blue. And what do we think about blueberries? We think of them as brain food. So you can think of this forbidden rice as brain food. I like that. I should just use my fingers.
You can get it right at the grocery store. It's not like it's you know, very hard to find, especially these days.
Yeah,
it's still just rice. It just actually has a little better chew for me than
I
white
agree.
rice.
It has a nice little chew flavor. And again, those antioxidants, super powerful for brain health, fighting inflammation. Awesome. I love it. Okay. The next one, this is one of my faves here. So we've got chickpea flour. Chickpea flour is just ground chickpeas.
Chickpea flour is another huge trend right now. Chickpea cakes have been around. Again, you know, it's a regional dish from Italy. It's popular in India, all over the Middle East. Chickpea is like such a hot item right now.
It's so hot right now. And so what I just did was I mixed equal parts water and chickpea flour with a little za'atar, a Middle Eastern spice mix. We know spices are loaded with antioxidants also. A little sea salt and olive oil. But you can also make this sweet. You can make the same mixture sweet.
Right, you can make it sweet or savory.
Or a little bit of nutmeg or cinnamon.
It's like a chickpea crepe.
Exactly. And what's amazing about it here, you can keep mixing that, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do is then I'm going to put it in the fridge, and what will come out with here is you let it sit for about a half an hour. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab right here, I'm gonna grab my hot...
So the batter thickens up, you let it develop for about half an hour, just like you would a crepe batter.
And what's amazing, oh, look at that. Oh, I don't wanna burn myself here. Okay, so what's amazing about it is it's gluten-free. So anybody anybody that wants to avoid, obviously, the refined flours, anybody that wants to have something that's a little higher in protein, and also, here, oh, whoops, look at that.
It's a hot pan.
Don't do that. We can add that right in there. So you can either do half or a third of the batter, depending upon how thick you want your crepe. right? And then we're gonna add it back.
Just swirl
Just swirl it around. We're gonna add it back into the oven right here. And then I'm gonna show you what the final product looks like. I'm gonna actually add veggies that we're gonna add to it right in here. We've got broccoli rabe, fall veggies, mushrooms, onions. Okay, so, but what's amazing about it, I love, is that again, it's gluten-free, it's higher in fiber, higher in protein, and higher in antioxidants than, you know, normal tortillas. So you're getting a lot more nutrition. Adding the veggies, and look at this, we can wrap it right up.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Very pretty.
And again, you can make it sweet. And it's so super easy, right?
Yeah, you just throw it back in the oven. Chickpea crepes. Again, if you're an Italian, you've been eating them for decades.
Okay, so I hear, I know, but see these things again.
I know,
all
it's
of a
so
sudden,
funny, all the superfoods and things. I'm like, they're ancient. These things have been around forever. It's just they get popular.
And I always say I can't invent new foods, but sometimes they can come back into trend.
That's right, come back into style.
Okay, I hear you're going to work with these in another recipe, right?
Yeah, we're making a Reuben patty melt later in the show, so we're incorporating both of these.
See, again, you're going to like me again because I'm going to tell you you can have bread. If you're going to have bread, I mean, you might as well have bread that's working for you a little bit. So sourdough bread actually produces some lactic acid, which is because it's fermented.
Right.
So that actually is good for your GI health. It helps you actually absorb some of the nutrients in the bread more so than other breads. So again, it's still bread. Don't eat the whole loaf of it. But if you're going to have it, at least you're getting some nutrients which are good for your GI health. Again, sauerkraut also another fermented food loaded with probiotics. Those good bacteria in your gut. Probiotics also another hot buzzword. So that's why all fermented foods are very hot right now.
I am crushing it with my recipes.